Hello, Wonderland. It is a chilly Sunday here in the Richmond, Virginia area, and I am at Totopotomoy Battlefield Park. Well, it's part of the Richmond National Battlefield Park. There's a bunch of sites around town because obviously, being the capital of the Confederacy, Richmond was kind of a hot spot, especially late in the war, for action. So, yes, near here along the Totopotomoy Creek, I hope I'm saying that right, was a small battle in late May 1864, so getting towards the end of the war as the Union was approaching Richmond. During the Overland Campaign, I pretend like I know Civil War history. I don't really a lot, but I want to learn more. Anyway, so I'm here for a quick stop. My wife had something to do in this area for an hour, so I've got about an hour to kill here. There's a trail. There's also, behind me, maybe you can see, Rural Plains, which is a home that was built in 1723 or so as part of the Sheldon family, and it actually stayed in the Sheldon family for almost 300 years. They just sold it not too long ago, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, to the Rural Plains Foundation, like a nonprofit, to manage it as a battlefield park. So kind of neat. It's connected to Patrick Henry. He married his wife, who was a Sheldon, in the house, as a matter of fact. So that's kind of cool. Around 1750 or so. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. But anyway, let's take a look. I'll take a little walk on the trail. We'll look at the house, see what we can see. Sound good? Yeah, let's get it. Ah. So here we see the house. Rural Plains. So during the battle here in 1864, this house was kind of commandeered by the Union Army, who were on this side of the creek, fighting the Confederate Army, who were on the other side of the creek. This was commandeered as the headquarters for the Union Army, briefly. And the family themselves, the Sheltons, they refused to leave. So they hunkered in the basement while the battle raged around them. Got some old graffiti action going on here. 1887, 1934. Come over here to the other side of the door, 1880 something, 1887. And that, I gotta say, that's some nice handiwork there for graffiti. Of course, the house itself not open right now. I think sometimes it might be. Have to look into that, but a lot of things are shut down, of course, still. Everything going on. But I know work is going on to restore the home to its 1864 appearance. Because even though it has the Patrick Henry connection back to colonial times, this park itself is really focused on the Civil War piece of things. So yeah, that's what they're focused on. That graffiti by the door is pretty neat, though. I mean, graffiti is no good, really. Although I've seen artistic graffiti, which I don't mind, but just the historical importance of the graffiti, you know, from 20 years after the war. Kind of interesting. Getting around to the back here. This home was apparently struck about 50 times during the battle by stray fire. Not sure if I'm seeing any of that. Flip around here. So this is the side of the house that really would have been exposed to Confederate fire. And yeah, I think I see a few spots. That brick there definitely looks like it was struck. There, kind of between those two bricks maybe. Here's a few divots, maybe. Hard to say for sure. That certainly looks like it might have been something. There. Higher up, some more divots and circular impacts. Yeah. History. Did I mention it's cold? Some ice. Kind of neat. Woo. Crunch, crunch. This is a nice trail so far. Not a lot to see. I think all that's really left from the battle after 160 years is some remnants of earthworks on both sides of the creek. Haven't got to any of those yet, but I'll show you when I do. But otherwise, it's a nice walk in the woods. The whole trail is about 2 miles long. I don't have time for that, so there's a kind of a shorter loop I'm gonna do, that I am doing. But yeah, it's not a bad day to be out. Winter in Virginia. So basically here next to the trail, you can kind of see what's left of a ditch kind of that runs that way, or trench. And that apparently, this little mound here and the trench next to it was a line of Union skirmishers during the battle. And they said on the other side too, but oh yeah, okay. Over here you can kind of see a high part with a trench. Like I said, after almost 170 years, not much sticks around, especially in the middle of the woods. Still, interesting. So I am on this footbridge, which runs over the creek. Obviously this was not present in 1864. So the side I'm coming from was the Union territory, and their men would traipse through this creek and try to take this land over here from the Confederate defenders, which rises pretty steeply ahead of me. So that makes for a not very advantageous position, militarily speaking. And it didn't go too well. Although they did better than might be expected. So yeah, you can imagine crossing the creek, trying to make your way up these hills on the other side here under heavy fire. War doesn't sound like very much fun. Here is what is left of the Shelton family cemetery, which was a lot larger during the war, and up until 1952, which is when most of the graves were moved to Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond. These two stones are infants who were born in the 1850s and died very young, obviously. I think they were children of the Shelton who owned the house during the war. It's a nice quiet place to rest. You can see the fields here. Had corn in it. I think at the time of the war it was wheat. But you can see this mound here was Union defenses during the war, dug under enemy fire basically. That goes quite a ways. Pretty day. And on that note, my time here is just about up. I'm back not too far from the house. I can see Rural Plains house again. So I'm on the trail heading back towards that. And then I'll hit the road. So this was a nice little stop on a crisp winter day. Very cool. So much history around here. I feel like I've only begun to scratch the surface. It's especially, I mean, Civil War alone. So much activity around here, obviously. Everywhere you look, just about. But even before that, there's a lot of colonial era history. Obviously, Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death. Associations right here where I am. Lots to check out, near and far. So stay tuned. And as always, like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. I think I'm at like 13 subscribers, woohoo. More are always welcome. And until next time, take care of yourself, be kind, get out and wander.